actually met Davey at Hurley. I walked in, third or fourth day on the job, was sitting at a computer, and he came walking past, and I basically, after he left that area of the building, I basically looked across from me and I said, "Hey, who's that English-looking guy?" And they're like, "Oh, that's Davey, he runs music." Well, apparently he had walked right around the corner and asked somebody else over there, "Hey, who's that new guy that looks English? Who's that guy? Does he play music?" And so from then on, we sort of hooked up, and we were just like, found out that we have a lot in common musically, and we just started hanging out and talking about, playing music. And well, Davey and I had been jamming on just doing some like little power pop thing where I was actually playing bass, not guitar, and it was just for a couple of Hurley events, and I think we played 2 or 3 times as, I can't even remember what we called it. I think it was called Sixes and Sevens, or maybe it was called Davey and the Devotions. I can't even remember. It was there were like 5 or 6 different names that were sort of floating around. I can't even remember which one we played under. But we did that a couple of times, and then Davey had been talking for quite some time about doing like a sort of like soul project, and I was really into that idea, and it kind of took a long time to come to light. And we had jammed a couple of times here or there. We got together with Corey on drums, and the rest of the members just weren't sticking, so it didn't go anywhere. And it was probably jammed 2 or 3 times, and 6 months later is when we actually got the offer from Social Distortion to come open up a couple of shows. We weren't planning on it being a big thing. We were just planning on playing a couple of shows for fun. They would be big shows. Let's do this, guys. It'll be fun. And we were really into it, and we got a really great response. It kind of made us excited about doing more with it. So Davey kind of takes care of like all the songwriting in the band because he's an amazing songwriter, and I kind of take care of the whole visual aspect of the band, kind of from beginning to end. So started designing all the flyers, designed the logo. I do all the EP covers, T-shirts, anything that's sort of like branding, packaging, any sort of design work for the band. I kind of, that's my shoes. I fill that out. When I first sat down to design the logo, we thought about what Suedehead really meant. Like what was our tagline going to be? What was the sort of phrase around the band going to be? And we came up with International Soul Rebels. Has a good ring to it. We kind of thought it encompassed everything the band was about. So the outer gear is actually a symbol used in a lot of labor union logos. So that really brings like the working class vibe to the band, and we consider ourselves to be a really hard-working DIY, very strong DIY ethic band where we do everything ourselves. The whole International Soul Rebels thing, we wanted that to be a big part of the logo as well. So we brought in the globe in the center to have that sort of like Pan Am, sort of like global world traveling sort of vibe to it. And the laurel leaves also is a kind of a symbol going all the way back to the first Olympic Games, sort of like an international thing, people coming together. And then the very last element of the band, we wanted that fun, sort of like danceable element of the band, so we put those dancing shoes in the globe. For the Flogging Molly tour and for Coachella, we want to do something new, so if people are seeing us again for the second or third time, we don't want it to be the exact same show, so we're trying to make it new and fun, and doing some pretty intense rehearsals. We're putting a lot of new songs in the set from the 30p, which we weren't playing before. Luckily, we've done really well with sales on the records, being a DIY band and just running our own mail order. We actually, on the last tour with Social Distortion, ran out of the first 2 EPs, and the third one was almost out, the first pressing, so we've ended up having to repress all 3 EPs. It's a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of work, but it's not thankless, fortunately.
Stop holding on to, I can't stop holding